Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So this is the type of video that I like to make. I finally got some good news for you guys, and it's the type of good news that should drive the Attorney General of the state of California, Rob Bonta, and Newsom completely up the wall. This is exactly what they don't want to see in the state of California, which is people who don't live in California being able to carry there. We have a big win that we're going to talk about today, and we're going to talk about some of the finer details of it as well, so stay tuned for this one. Now, when we talk about carry, I like to mention the main sponsor of this channel, which is Attorneys on Retainer. It is an extremely important membership to have in your wallet. As a matter of fact, I went with Attorneys on Retainer because I honestly believe that they are the best in the business. Now, these days, you could defend yourself. It's pretty cut and dry, and yet you still could be the one that ends up in handcuffs. If you have that Attorneys on Retainer membership, you call the number on the back of the card, you talk to an actual attorney giving you instant attorney-client privilege, and they will get somebody out there to defend you and take you through the entire process. It really is like having an attorney in your back pocket. It is 100% invaluable, and they can cover you where others can't because, again, they're not an insurance company. So if you want more information about them before you carry again, check out the information down below. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So we're talking about a lawsuit. This is the CRPA v. LASD. Now, the CRPA was joined by the 2AF, the GOA, and the GOC in this one to combat some of the problems in the permitting process with the LA Sheriff's Department. Now, in doing so, we actually got a pretty big win. If you guys know, when it comes to California and carry, the second you cross that state line, you are disarmed. As a matter of fact, I've made multiple videos about this in the past. If you guys know, recently I lost my brother, which meant that I had to go back and forth to California multiple times, you know, in a 6-week period. And during that, every single time I would cross that border from Nevada into California, I was disarmed. And I felt that it was completely unconstitutional to do so. Even though I could bring something with me, it had to follow their transport requirements. So it had to be, you know, in a locked container and unloaded and separate and all this stuff. And, you know, I had to follow those rules. I couldn't carry. And to me, I just felt like that was a huge violation of my rights. Well, this absolutely corrects that. So again, this win basically said that people who want to travel to California, who live outside of California, but wish to exercise their right, should be able to do so as United States citizens. But the judge basically said, look, I'm not going to be the one that's going to come up with the terms here. I'm not going to come up with the rules. You guys have the permitting process. You guys hash it out and then bring that back to me. So that's what happened. The plaintiffs in this case basically got together with the California Department of Justice and came up with a preliminary order, something to present the judge that says, okay, we've determined that this would be the best suit for now, you know, while things are still pending, in order to correct this problem. Now, when it comes to the rules and regulations on how to actually get one of these permits and who qualifies for one of these permits, there has been a proposed order that was submitted to the judge, and the judge just simply needs to sign off on them. Now, I believe, and the people that are involved believe, that this is not going to be that big of a deal. The judge should have no problem signing off on them because this proposal was essentially put together by both the plaintiffs and the California DOJ. So this is what was agreed upon. This is what was submitted to the judge. And now the judge just needs to sign off on it and actually have that proposal so we can look at it and see what you need in order to qualify for one of these permits. Now, as we take a look at this document, you can see that it was filed in the United States District Court, Central District of California, and it was just filed the other day, September 23rd. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the meat and potatoes here. So it says plaintiffs, along with defendant Robert Bonta in his official capacity as Attorney General of the state of California, and defendants Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and Sheriff Robert Luna in his official capacity, the parties have met and conferred as required by this court order August 20th. The court accordingly orders as to defendant Bonta. Number 1, residents of the states of the U.S. territories besides California who are A, members of the California Rifle and Pistol Association Incorporated, GOA, GOC, or the 2AF, and B, who are not otherwise prohibited from possessing firearms under federal or California law, upon proof of such membership, are entitled under this order to apply for a California concealed handgun license as provided under Penal Code sections 26.150 through 26.235. Except that such applicants shall not be eligible for licenses described in sections 26150, 155, and 170. These qualifying non-resident prospective applicants are referred to as non-resident applicants. Now, as you scroll down here to the rest of the requirements, I mean, it's California. It's what you would expect from California. So they're going to be a little bit more stringent than what you might expect from your home state. But basically, you're going to have some type of state ID or a state-issued driver's license, something like that. You're going to have to go through classroom training, and that can be done virtually, so you can do your classroom training online. There's also going to be live fire training. So you're going to have to get that done in your home state as well. And then the other thing that you're going to have to consider here are the things that you might have to submit. So in California, you don't get to just carry whatever you want. You have to tell the state what it is exactly that you're going to be carrying, so that can be added to your license. Like here in the state of Nevada, we don't have anything like that. I can walk out with one thing one day and then, 2 hours later walk out with something totally different. It's a permit to carry, and I can carry whatever. But in California, that's not the way that it's going to work. So again, they have that laid out there in there as well. You're going to have to learn about those different, I guess the different rules that California has for carry in that state. Now, unfortunately, it looks like there's going to be some extra steps that are involved as well. So you're going to have to go through the standard stuff like, your fingerprints and the FBI background check and all that. But there's also going to be an interview that's required, and that's going to be done virtually. And California being California, there may actually be required a psychological examination. So that's something that could come up. Now, if and when the judge signs off on this, you're looking at a 90-day window before this would actually take effect. So it's not going to be instant once the judge actually does sign it. But here's some things you want to consider. For all those people who think that this permit might be worth it, okay, you're willing to jump through all the hoops, you're willing to go through the process, you're willing to do everything that they're asking for here in order to apply for that permit, there's still a lot of laws in this area in the state of California that can get people hung up. So when it comes to the roster, that's one big question that I'm sure a lot of people have on their minds. There's people who know about the roster. They used to live there. They're coming back. The roster just deals with transactions in California and what can be sold there. It's not what you can own or possess there. I had a lot of off-roster stuff when I was in California. That's not going to be a big deal. So if it's something that's not on the roster, I don't think you need to worry about that. I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. Make sure you contact an actual legal attorney if this is something that you really want questions on. But I'm just giving you my experience from living there and going through different processes there. You don't need to worry too much about the roster. Now, when it comes to other things, you want to consider these things like magazine capacity. Until Duncan is resolved, which is a case that's at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals right now that deals with capacity in California, you're still stuck at 10 rounds. Nothing can be over that limit. Also, consider the sensitive locations that are being dealt with right now in May v. Bonta. These are important factors that you want to consider because in California, those sensitive locations could be different from the state that you're going to be coming from. So there's a lot of different factors that you want to consider, a lot of different things that are in play here. And it's not, like I said in the very beginning, this is not like an outright win. This is not reciprocity. This is not the full picture of what we would be looking for here, but at least it's an avenue. It's an option for people to take advantage of now while they'd be visiting California. This is not a process that's fast either. If you know California, it's usually fairly slow, it's fairly expensive, it's time consuming. There's a lot that would have to go into getting that permit, but if you were lucky enough to actually get one, in the past, I mean, just a couple years ago, it would be almost impossible, even as a California resident in some areas, like Los Angeles County. But, again, you have an option to do that. And so I wanted to let you guys know about that, and I'll keep you guys up to date if there's any changes in this, and let you know whether or not the judge actually does sign off on it, which, again, the people who are involved in this directly think that the judge will. So, again, I'll keep you updated. I want to let you know about that and also give you some of the details as to what's going on. And I'll also, we'll stay on top of it. How's that? Anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.